Hi, and welcome back to the Neverending Panel. I'm Charles Lee Jackson II. I'm your host and moderator, and with me today are Eric Hoffman, film historian and convention speaker, and our own Arlene Satin, without whom we would have a hell of a time getting these things out to you to watch. Our topic today is what makes a good monster. Now, I'm not even sure what we mean by good monster. I mean, Milton the monster in the cartoon series, he was good, but he wasn't very interesting. Frankenstein's monster, when he meets a little girl at the side of the lake, is a good monster up until just before they fade out. On the other hand, we might mean what makes a monster that we really enjoy. So what do you think about that, Eric?
First of all, a good monster is one that captures our attention, scares the hell out of us, depending on what it does, and you just catch on. The bad monster, of course, to me, is the one you're going to wind up laughing your head off at. You mentioned earlier Charis, the mummy, an improbable creature, but the two films that they did were the two of the films that he did when he said in the United States. That's creepy because he got a thing from ages past, goes an inch and a half an hour, and is slower, and all the people he's going after, they're faster than he is, yet he still catches them.
You can run and you can run, but you can't outrun the mummy, no matter what you do.
Well, my philosophy is if they can outrun him and yet he gets them, they deserve to be killed.
Well, my favorite, of course, is Godzilla because in the first movie, he was considered evil, but as they do more and more of them, he takes on a different role, and he's the one protecting Earth and Japan from all these other monsters. And let's not forget the one where he has a baby.
Oh, you mean the Pillsbury Dough monster?
Yes, where he's protecting the baby, and so he's all cute. He was cute.
That's non-canonical. We're talking about Minya.
No, that's Gesundheit, son of Godzilla. Actually, with a lot of these certain Japanese monsters, they started off as menaces, but the one I always remember was Gamera, the flying turtle. I mean, suddenly after a couple of stories, when he's mean, nasty, and all that, he suddenly becomes the friend of children.
Yes, I mean, not just the defender of Earth, the friend of little children. And it's almost it's like at the end of the first movie, he is placed in an impossibly large rocket ship and sent away. And somehow it never occurs to anybody that rockets orbit. And so, of course, it eventually comes back to Earth in the second picture. And almost from the moment he gets back from his universal cruise, he's starting to be a good guy. And once he's got other monsters to fight...
That damn radiation will do it every time.
Because it's Gamera versus Gaius. Gaius is my favorite. A big thing that looks like a bat that was designed by an architect.
Oh, yeah. Or a committee.
Which has twin throats and twin spines, and so it can't turn its head.
Uh-huh.
So the way to defeat it is to tap it on the shoulder. Ah!
Well, in the more modern version of the Godzilla movie, they made him into a giant lizard that was evil. And I'm like,
although toward the end he was defending Earth to some degree. Actually, my personal...
No, I mean the more modern version.
The American one.
I know what you're talking... Oh, you mean the Iguanosaurus?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's how I refer to him.
I was disappointed. The acting was
good. The big monster that laid an egg on Broadway.
One of my favorite good creatures was probably the last series creature that Universal created, the creature from the Black Lagoon. I mean, he's fearsome. You don't want to run into this guy. He also... You kind of feel sorry for him. He's the last of his kind. And he's probably thinking when he sees Julie Adams, the heroine, swimming in the water, it's so lonely down here. I got to find me a broad.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, Harry, you got something for us?
Yeah, well, what makes a good monster to me, there's two types. And there's a story that Joe Dante tells that him and John Landis both wanted to make werewolf movies. And they didn't want to duplicate each other. They were talking, so they decided that Landis would take the sympathetic approach towards the werewolf, and he would take the more evil, pure version of the werewolf. And I think that's the essence, to do different types. The ones that you're sympathetic with, that you feel pain, and then the other type that's a pure
mean, nasty, and kill and destroy. Yeah.
So that tipping off of that, I'm very fond of Lawrence Stewart Talbot, who died at the youthful age of 29.
And he keeps coming back and coming back.
Just being he must be a Lostwitz member because Jeff did not release him from those movies.
Actually, I was thinking more along the line of the saying they used to have when Dark Shadows kept bringing the actors back in all those reincarnations. If at first you don't succeed, die again.
Yeah. With Larry Talbot, you have an incredibly sympathetic character.
Absolutely.
In the course of the first movie, you build up, even though he is he has a certain amount of American arrogance there in his little village. He's still likable. Even the guy who gets spurned by his girlfriend, who now turns to Larry Talbot, kind of grudgingly likes Larry. And so when he is struck by tragedy, the audience really gets caught up in it. And as the pictures progress, because he's got 4 more films, he by the third one, he's got other people in the cast going, I can't stand his eternal whining. But he gets over that in the last picture, Meet Frankenstein. Talbot has found a mission in life. He's going to stop Dracula. He has become the hero monster. So like Godzilla, he has gone from being a savage monster to being a hero, even though he does turn into a savage monster. He only attacks two people, really, in the course of that movie. He attacks Mr. McDougal, the owner of the House of Horrors, bites him once and then runs away. But he spends most of the end of the picture fighting with Dracula tooth and nail. And I mean tooth and nail.
But when you start to get sympathy for the monster characters, are they really still monsters
Yes,
at that
they are.
point?
In this case, yeah, I think so.
I agree. I agree that they still are, yes.
Yeah. You got any words of wisdom for us, Tim? We're about to wrap it up here.
Well, I was just when we were talking about the favorite monsters, I was gonna put my vote with Gamera.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, Gamera.
He's still the turtle meat and friend of small children.
Yes, indeed.
Oh, yeah.
The first picture where, in order to fly, he had to spin around like a top, they kind of figured out, and perhaps that wouldn't work, so they had him only shoot rockets out of his feet.
I think he's also the first monster outside of Godzilla with acid reflux disease.
Yeah. Yes. Okay, well, on that note, we will wrap it up here, and I will say thank you, Eric. Thank you, Arlene. Thank all of you out there for watching us.
Thank you very
and
much.
be here another time for another installment of the Never-Ending Panel, because it's just never ending.
Never ending.